This is Educated Artistry. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Educated Artistry. And this is also officially the last episode of 2023. And I wanted to come to you guys with a solo episode because, once again, it's been a minute since it's just been us. And I wanted to just kind of give you guys some updates of what's going on, some things I've been telling you. Like I'm gonna give you guys the tea. I'm gonna tell you what's going on, as well as some exciting things going on that are coming this year, and then just kind of gonna wrap up 2023 and kind of where my thoughts and my feelings are with going into 2024, and hopefully help you guys out with some goal setting and some good stuff like that. But before we jump into the episode, I do want to remind you guys that we have the competition going for the most downloaded episode of 2023. You have 11 days left to help your favorite guest win the title this year. So, a couple ways that you can do this is by simply sharing the episode link on your stories to your audience. You could share the episode link directly with your beauty business bestie, especially if there's an episode that really impacted you and helped you somehow in your business. You could send, especially if you were a guest on the podcast this year, something that you can do is send your episode link to your email list. And you can also add it to your website as a free resource, because I think that a lot of people that go on podcasts forget how valuable of a free resource that these episodes are for your audience. And it's something that you can kind of have a section where they can easily go and listen to all the different podcasts that you have been on. So that's another great way, one, to serve your audience, and then also to share your episode to get those downloads up. Another thing you can do is just posting about it on your story, on your feed, making reels, whatever it is. I do usually have podcast promotion materials for each guest. So if you were a guest this year and you don't have your promotion materials and you would like them, just send me a DM and I will get those over to you. So we have 11 days left to be able to share the episode and see who takes the title for the most downloaded podcast episode of 2023. And it does not matter if you were a guest in January or if you were just a guest in December. Like, they are across the board all different. We actually have quite a few that are neck and neck for that title. So make sure that you're sharing it throughout this next week so you can get your downloads up. What we're going to do and how this is going to work is I will cut off on December 31st, 11:59 p.m. I will make sure that where the current stats are going to be where they're at. And you guys will be we will be taking a 3-week break on the podcast. So I'm going to be back January 17th. So we're going to announce who the winner is on January 17th, which I'm super excited. But those cutoff of getting the downloads in are going to be before that on the 1st. So super excited. Share the episodes. I only base it off of the guest episodes. I don't take in consideration my solo episodes. So make sure that if there's a guest on here, or if you were a guest, that you're sharing that episode with your audience. So that way we can bump up their downloads. Okay, the next announcement that I have before we get into today's episode is that I am throwing an event in Vancouver, Washington. It is called Be My Lashentine, and I am so excited to host this for my lash community in Vancouver, Washington. One of my goals going into 2024 was to focus back on my local lash community. I was kind of feeling that these past 3 years was so much going online for courses and training, the in-person events became very rare. I even feel like in-person trainings became something that was harder to find. A lot of us tend to work solo too, so it can feel really lonely. And I wanted to create an event for lash artists in my community nearby, or anybody who wants to travel and can come here to have the opportunity to connect. And I understand that not all of us can, afford or take the time off to go to these larger conferences too, like the Lash Conference, for example. And there's so many amazing conferences that are coming to different areas especially in the US. And it can be hard to take off the time or to travel, or maybe it's just not within the means right now. So I wanted to be able to create this experience and this opportunity on a smaller scale for you to connect and network and meet people in your local area and, make friends. It can be so hard, especially as an adult. Like, it's so awkward to make friends as an adult. And it's kind of can be like nerve wracking to be like, hey, you want to hang out? And talk business, or, I'm having this problem, and be able to like have somebody that you can go to for support. And this is something that I wanted to throw to be able to create connection and for us to just really, get to know each other. And I do truly, truly believe, and I've said this for years, there are always going to be more clients than there are lash artists. There is always going to be enough clients for everybody because we all have different target audiences. We all have different hours for sale. We all have different days that we can even schedule. We have different styles that certain clients prefer over others. Our target audiences are also different. So there is enough clients for all of us. There's no reason to have this like crazy competition and us not talk. I truly believe the more that we can help each other and have certain conferences and events and education and training, all it's going to do is it's going to elevate our industry as a whole. It's going to elevate your local community as a whole. And when all of the artists are giving this freaking A plus amazing 5-star experience service, that elevates you guys to be able to charge more. And it's not going to be like, oh, she's expensive or they're cheap. It's going to be like, this is the standard, right? This is the standard of this area because we're bringing it. We're bringing a high level customer experience. We're bringing good retention. We're bringing amazing customized lash sets, right? So this event is going to be on February 18th. Like I said, it's going to be in Vancouver, Washington, and it's going to be from 6:30 to 9:30. And the theme, of course, is Valentine's. So you're going to wear your best pink or red outfit, and it's going to be all hearts and pink and sparkles. And I am so freaking excited to decorate. There are so many things in my Amazon cart. It's kind of insane. So I hope that you can make it. I want to let you know what is included in your ticket because tickets right now are on presale, and I'm going to have them linked in the show notes for you guys. The tickets are at the presale price of $75 until January 1st. So again, you have 11 days to go grab this ticket. What's included? You get a swag bag. Of course, swag bags are freaking the best and they're so amazing. Now, with the swag bags, though, I wanted to kind of do something different than what I normally see. I really wanted to focus in on local lash brands because in the Portland, Vancouver area, we've actually had a lot of, I don't want to say small lash artists because that sounds like bad in a way, but like smaller brands or solo lash artists that are coming out and with their own product lines. And I think that is freaking amazing. And I love to be able to support locally whenever I can, especially when it comes to buying product, right? I'd rather be able to go support somebody who works in my community. I can buy lashes from them or, tape or iPads than have to go onto Amazon or wait for shipping too, right? Like it kind of sucks that we don't have a supply store as lash artists where we can just like hop in a store. At least we don't have one here. I know they're becoming more popular in certain areas, but we don't have that to be able to be like, oh, I'm out of my D-Curl 0.07 11 millimeter and I'm gonna have to wait 3 days for it to get shipped to me, right? So I really wanted to focus the swag bags with top of the line lash brands, but also local lash brands. And I will say majority of our swag bags, we have local lash brands that are donating products for you guys to try. And I'm so excited right now. Currently, the swag bags are valued more than the ticket. They're valued at about $125 right now. And I haven't even heard back from all of our potential sponsors. So I imagine that that is going to go up just because we are still in those beginning phases. I mean, gosh, hosting an event, you guys, I'm like 2 months getting this all planned. There's a lot of like moving pieces that go into it. So right now, even before more brands get added to this, the swag bags alone are going to be worth more than your ticket price. Now, another thing that is included in your ticket is entry into giveaways. We have sponsors that have donated education courses, product bundles, and free conference tickets. We currently have over $3,000 in prizes that you will have the opportunity to win. So that is another great thing. We're going to have fun raffles that you can actually, I'm going to do it in a way where you can actually put your raffle into the specific item that you want to win. So that way, if you do win, at least you're getting something that you really wanted, or you can mix them between all, whatever it is. But you're going to have entry into all those giveaways. And then we're also going to have food catered. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have some signature cocktails, some champagne, probably some wine. So it's going to be a really good time. We're also going to have a few vendors there. Right now, confirmed, I'm going to have my friend Jamie, the owner of Portland Tooth Fairy. They are going to be there with their team and doing tooth gems. Jamie also does tooth gem training and teeth whitening training. So there's going to be exclusive discounts on that kind of course. And what I love is the team that Jamie's bringing with them are lash artists. They're lash artists that also do tooth gems and teeth whitening. And I thought that was really cool because then you guys can ask some questions. If that's a service that you've thought about adding on to your menu, you can actually ask some questions. How do you like incorporate this as a lash artist? Like, how does it work? What is, how are you marketing to your current clients, whatever it is? So I thought that was really cool. So we're going to have that available. And then I have some fun, like other vendors that are going to be included in the tickets. I just don't want to say it yet in case they're not confirmed, but just know I have some fun other things in mind that we're going to have as little things that you can do while you're there. We're going to have a DJ. There's going to be photo ops. Like, it's going to be a really good time. So once again, the link is in the show notes for you to grab your ticket at the pre-sale pricing. So if this is something that you're down with and you're close to Vancouver, Washington, then pause this episode now, run to the show notes, click on that link, get your ticket so that way you don't forget and you can get it at the pre-sale price. I will say too, I want to add, I do have this in the FAQ section of the ticket link, but the tickets are non-refundable. However, if for some reason you got sick or you couldn't make it, you still will receive your swag bag no matter what. We'll figure it out. I'll send it to you. You just let me know that you can't make it, and I'll make sure that you're still going to get your swag bag. So that way you're at least getting that part of your ticket in there. So that'll be great. So pause that episode. One last thing to add about this event. If you have a team of lash artists or you plan on coming in a group, please send me a message because I do have special rates for groups of 4 or more. So this is great if you are a salon owner and you have employees that you want to bring to an event like this, and this is a great opportunity there. All right, let's get into the main portion of this episode. And today's going to be kind of a short and sweet. I just kind of wanted to sit and talk to you guys about wrapping up 2023. If you remember a couple weeks ago, I was telling you guys I was doing a final sale on my masterclasses and I was retiring my masterclasses. So I want to talk about that. And then I kind of want to talk to you about goal setting for 2024 because I feel like this time of the year, everyone's like New Year's resolutions and set your goals, or you're doing price raises or whatever it is. And maybe you're waiting for the first of the year to hit so you can like feel motivated again and get back to the grind or whatever it is. So I want to talk about those things. So let's start off about why I retired my masterclasses. It's funny because so many people think I'm crazy when I'm like, oh, I'm taking this service off or anything that like produces an income. When I'm like, nope, this doesn't align anymore. Like, it doesn't work. I'm retiring it. Now with the master classes, I love all of the master classes. One of the things, and let me add too, I truly believe in the master classes and I love teaching on those topics. But one of the main reasons was I wanted to simplify. I like anybody that's in online course creation, there's a lot of different types of programs you can choose from that you can host your online classes in. I use Teachable, and I've been using it for a couple years. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's great. I do think it's a really expensive, and the way that I like to teach master classes, it doesn't make sense. And I just feel like I had a lot of stuff in all different areas and my students were kind of having to like bounce around from like Teachable to a Facebook group. So a lot of the things was like, I wanted to simplify how my classes are taught and what that process looks like. And one of the big things I realized, I'm like, I don't really need this platform in order to be able to sell courses and provide the value, because really the platform, all it was doing was taking my payments. And there's other ways I can do that without paying, a huge lump sum of money every year, plus them taking transaction fees. So that was like, candidly, guys, that was a big thing where I was like, this is money that I don't think I need to be spending that could be better invested in other parts of my business. I also wanted to kind of update and change the structure. I think like the way that we enjoy learning or teaching can change, and kind of like what is going on in the industry can evolve, what makes sense, kind of how people are purchasing, what their needs are. Then that is kind of something that I was ready to kind of update and change. I also, think that if you're in online course creation, really take data of like how many people are completing your course. Because I think sometimes we think like, oh, cool, I'm getting these course sales, people are signing up, as like anybody completing it, and like, are you making a difference? Are they completing the course and implementing what you taught them, and are you getting that feedback? And how many people are actually completing it 100% through and putting the effort all the way through? And if they're not, how can we tweak things to help them get to that 100% completion mark? And then mainly the other thing too is just that I believe that no matter what course you're teaching, there's always things you can update, more information you can add, things evolve, things change, and that you can add more to your course. So that's just simply why I retired my master classes. And I'm going to be honest too with you guys that this season, I feel like this last quarter four has been more of, I don't even want to say relaxing, but I gave myself permission to not have to have shit going on all the time. I feel like in the industry, we tend to compare to what everybody else is doing around us. And I feel like I was doing that where I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't launched a masterclass in like 2 months. I don't know why I had, and this could be a me thing where I had this thing in my head where I was like, oh, I should be launching one every month, whatever it was. And it came down to at the time, I was like, I'm okay with not having a masterclass right now. I'm okay with not having to sell something right now and promote something and market something. And giving myself permission to be okay with that. That like right now, I don't want to do any classes. Nothing was really calling to me. Nothing felt really aligned and authentic at this moment. And I think that sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to enjoy what we've built so far. I think as entrepreneurs, we always have these goals and we always have these achievements that we want to hit. But what happens is we hit this goal and then we don't celebrate, we don't stop, we just move to the next. And it's just like this cycle, move to the next, move to the next, move to the next. And I think sometimes we forget to actually sit back and be like, damn, I just want to enjoy this for a minute. For me, I wanted to enjoy that I can take clients 2 days a week. I have time to work on the podcast and I can pay my bills. I'm good. I'm happy. I can like take some time just to enjoy this part. And yes, there's always going to be more money to be made. There's always going to be something you could be selling or promoting or a service you could be adding or more clients or whatever it is. But right now, I was like, I want to give myself permission to just like chill and enjoy what I've built right now and have that be enough. And for right now in this quarter four of my life, like have it be enough and not have to feel this imposter syndrome or the stress that I have to keep going and pushing and go to the next goal and achieving more. Cause it's like, I think we do that and we think like, we like feel like we haven't achieved anything. And it's like, did you see, can you compare to like last year even or 5 years ago, like how much you've truly achieved? But we always are chasing that next thing. I think a lot of us don't actually sit back and enjoy our achievements. So that was something too. And when it came to my decision to retire my master classes, that was a part of it too. I was like, you know what? These master classes are amazing. And there are things I want to tweak with them. I want to change how I do them. I want to change how I market them. I want to change the setup, the structure. It's time for them to be retired and be okay with that, you know? So if anybody is feeling this way, then I just want you to know that you're not alone and that you can enjoy where you're at right now. And that can be okay. It's just like I've heard a lot of people say in the industry, like, if you just want to be a lash artist and you don't want the salon, you don't want the product line, you don't want the apparel line, you don't want the training, the online course creation or whatever it is, that is okay. That's amazing. These are like one of the few careers that you can go to school for, depending on your state, like 6 months, get this license, pay and pay for courses. And not saying that it's not hard work. This is one of the few careers that you can do with very little investment into, I would say, like, compared to college, a smaller investment and a shorter amount of time that you can make a great living for yourself. And I'm not going to like try and play that whole, like, you're not going to make your 6 figures the first year, but like you put in the work and the dedication and the passion and you love it, you can have a very fulfilling life and make a nice wage for yourself. And that can be enough for you and that's okay. So just remembering that, like, and I think that's kind of where it ties back into, it's like, it may not be for always, but if right now you're just okay being a lash artist and you're like, I need to pause on everything else. I just want to be a lash artist, then just do it. Right. So the next part of this that I want to get into for today's episode is goal setting. We're going to hear a lot of this, especially the new year, 11 days away, guys, 11 days. And I'm going to share an unpopular opinion. Maybe some of you guys agree. Let me know in the comments, especially if you're watching on YouTube, if you do this or not. So I don't set New Year's resolutions anymore. I used to, but I would feel like about the past 4 years, I've not set one. And I would be like, and every year was the same. It was, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat healthy. And I don't set them anymore because I don't know what the statistic is exactly, but I remember reading that I think it was like 22% of adults that set New Year's resolutions, only 22% actually follow through with them. And I think that there's something that I don't know. I find that these are the same. It's a similar concept when like we tell ourselves, oh, it's like Friday night and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start my workout routine on Monday, or I'm going to start eating healthy on Monday." But it's Friday, it's the weekend. So I'm going to ball out. I'm going to go like all in and I'll start on Monday. And then maybe we start on Monday, then Friday comes back again. We're like, I'll start back again on Monday, right? So I feel like it does the same thing. If you're somebody who goes to the gym frequently, which I do, and I'm going to use this as an example. If you're frequent at the gym year round, you know that January is like, you're like, I don't even want to step foot into a gym because it is insanely busy and there is an overflow of people at the gym and you cannot get on a machine because the most popular New Year's resolution is losing weight. And people they start going to the gym and, they're doing this. I'm not even kidding, February 1st, it starts emptying out again because the people who weren't making those decisions every day stop going. So I want to encourage you not to wait for the new year. Guys, I know there's 11 days left, but don't wait for the new year for permission to start a goal that you have. Start today. You have an 11-day head start on everyone around you who is going to wait for the clock to strike midnight and it's January 1st. And I guarantee that there is one small habit or step that you can start building today that is going to catapult you into your next goal. Take the small steps and start them today. I was just talking to my mom about this when we were in Disneyland in October after the conference. And she was like, yeah, starting in the next year, I'm really gonna, I need to get back on, get into the gym and all this stuff. I was like, why don't you start now? She's like, well, it's just busy. And, it's just everything's kind of crazy. I'm like, Mom, you don't have to start with going to the gym 5 days a week for an hour. Start with getting up in the morning and going on your treadmill for 10 minutes. Make that a habit. Start with making sure that you're drinking a big glass of water first thing in the morning. Start with these small habits today that by the time you got to January, you maybe are at that like, yeah, I'm going to the gym every day, 1 hour, I get up at 5 a.m., whatever it is for you, right? And whatever your goals are. You don't have to wait for a specific day to give yourself permission to start doing that. And I think there's a big difference between the people who do succeed and stick to their goals long term and make it a habit. Understand that. So I want to encourage you guys to start today, whatever the goal is, whatever it is. Let's not make the excuses of I'm going to wait till the new year. It's going to be my New Year's resolution because usually those don't stick. Start today with something small. What is one small thing you can start today? And I've talked about habit stacking in this podcast before. And kind of what I just gave the example of my mom with like start on the treadmill for 10 minutes every day, right? Make that a habit. A big one that I did, especially when I was focusing on my health and wellness journey this past year, which I've shared with you guys about, is, drinking water. First thing in the morning, get up before I touch my coffee, because I was just went straight to my coffee. Before I even touch my coffee, I'm grabbing a glass of water, I'm drinking that, and now it's a habit because I did it every day. And then now that that's a habit, it was one small thing I had to worry about. Then I added in, you know what? After I drink my water, I'm going to go journal for 10 minutes, or I'm going to write 5 things I'm grateful for. That became a habit. Once I did that, it depends. Usually people say like 30 days for something to become a habit. I usually feel after doing something consistently for 2 weeks, I usually feel like it's habitual. And then you can add something else and you can keep going with that progress. Now, if I were to tell you, hey, starting tomorrow, I want you to drink a full glass of water. I want you to journal for 10 minutes. I want you to write 5 things you're grateful for. I want you to go to the gym for 30 minutes. I want to make sure you're stretching. I also want to make sure that you're eating a well-balanced breakfast. Like you'd be like, oh my gosh, don't talk to me. Like this is too much, right? You wouldn't do it because it's like overload. So start with one small step when it comes to your goal setting. One small step that you can do. When it comes to business, maybe you want to be better with like your financials. You want to understand where your financials are sitting, how much cash flow you have, what your profit and loss is, right? Something that I started doing, you guys can totally steal this, is I do money dates. So usually twice a month. And I actually think one of my things that I'm going to start making a habit in 2024 is once a week. But as of now, twice a month, I have money dates. They are in my schedule, they are blocked out, usually an hour to an hour and a half. I take myself to a coffee shop. I get my nice like vanilla latte with oat milk. Maybe I get a scone or a muffin, depending on how I'm feeling. And I open up my computer and I go through my financials. I go through my bank statements. I'm like, am I getting charged for any subscriptions that I shouldn't? Being aware of those things, right? So that's something that I started doing, making it kind of fun for myself and scheduling it with myself too. Because, of course, we're the worst with holding ourselves accountable for things. Like, if you had an appointment with your CPA, like, you have to make an appointment with them. Like, think of this as a money date. You're going on a date with yourself and you're going to be looking at your money, right? Check where your savings are, check where your profit and loss is. So, this is something that's a small thing that you can start doing and making a habit. So, I do it twice a month because usually I do once a month is a business, and then the second week is my personal. So I go through the two things because there's different goals for both of them, right? And I feel like it breaks it up to where it's not as overwhelming. So that's something you guys can do too. So taking those small steps and creating those habits. And I just want to conclude this episode with encouraging you also to take some time to acknowledge and reflect on 2023 and what you've accomplished. And I know this can be hard to give ourselves gratitude. And this kind of ties into what I was talking to before. I feel like as entrepreneurs, we're constantly chasing the next goal, the next thing, the next, milestone, that we don't always sit back and actually reflect on what we've accomplished, right? So whether you journal, whether you just want to sit and just think about it or say it out loud while you're listening to this in your car when this episode is over, tell yourself what you've accomplished. Speak it out loud. Reflect on that. Give it some acknowledgement. Tell yourself, like, holy shit, dude, look at what we did this year. That's amazing. And even if you didn't accomplish every single goal, even if they're small things, acknowledge them and give them the credit they deserve and give you the credit you deserve for accomplishing those things. And that's where I want to end with you guys for today's episode. It was a little short and sweet episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope that this gave you some insight and some encouragement and just some good going into the new year. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and you guys have a good time ringing in the new year. And like I said, do not forget to go share your favorite guest episode, share it with your audience on your stories. Please share today's episode. I know we're not going to see each other. We're going to take about 3 weeks off, but I promise you guys I'm getting some amazing interviews set up for you guys. If you've ever been interested in being a guest on this podcast, I'm also going to include the link in the show notes for you to apply to be a guest. We'll have the link for the My Lashentine event in Vancouver, Washington for you guys. Make sure you grab that while they're on pre-sale until January 1st, and then make sure you're sharing your favorite guest episode link or sending it to your email list or whatever it is before January 1st as well. And we will be back on January 17th with a brand new year of Educated Artistry and the announcements of our winner of the most downloaded episode of 2023. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.